Today we talk about the box office, and it's a very slow weekend as nothing major has released because, of course, Hollywood is continuing to struggle with non-franchise movies. So, Civil War is the #1 movie of the week, and this movie's performing very poorly internationally. So, no one is watching this movie internationally. They have it updated at March Mojo at 4 million internationally. But either way, this movie is likely going to lose money for A24. A24 has had pretty big successful movies in the past couple of years. Like Everything Everywhere All at Once is an example of that. But it seems that Civil War is not that movie that is going to do well. This is a very divisive and controversial movie. And they thought it would be like GTA. They thought it would be like, oh, the controversy will sell tickets. But it seems that no one really cares, because Hollywood continues to struggle with non-franchise movies. Because Civil War, yes, is based off a controversial, event, which is, the hypothetical Second American Civil War. That's what this movie is about. But it seems that nobody gives a crap as well. So the movie is still continuing to perform pretty poorly. The movie needs to make $125 million to break even. And it's not going to make $125 million globally to break even. It is performing very poorly in international markets as well, which again, not too surprising, because most of the world doesn't care about American politics. So this is another Ghostbusters situation, where the movie is not doing too well internationally compared to domestically, which is another problem with these movies. A lot of these non-franchise movies, and that they continue to struggle at the box office. Now let's go back to all the other movies. Abigail is another box office failure. This movie needs to make $70 million to break even as well. And it is released in a lot of these international markets, but no one seems to care. Again, Hollywood continues to struggle with non-franchise movies. They continue to struggle. This is why you have all these very slow weekends, because these movies can't hold a weekend anymore. Non-franchise movies very rarely can hold a weekend anymore. They are never big. These movies are never really big draws anymore. And I have never even seen a trailer for this movie. I've seen a trailer for The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I think they probably think I like that movie because it's about World War II. And we'll go over that movie soon. And yeah, these are just bad numbers overall for Hollywood. It just seems that, but I also got to realize the economy is also pretty bad. But also, Hollywood did pretty well in 2008, when the economy was just as bad as in 2008. But it seems that Hollywood continues to struggle with mid-budget movies and non-franchise movies overall, as no one seems to care about them. And it's funny, people online will complain about them, but they will never put the money where their mouth is and actually watch these movies. Which is pretty funny. They say we want more originality in Hollywood. Oh yeah, we don't want to watch anything that's not part. We'll watch Kung Fu Panda 4, but we'll not watch Abigail or Civil War or The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare or Monkey Man, which are all original IPs that'll be okay. Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is about World War II, but Abigail, Civil War, and Monkey Man are three completely unique and original movies. Okay, I think this movie might be based off a real life story, I think, yeah. But Monkey Man and Civil War are based off completely, new stories. And it seems that the average audience just doesn't care. Hollywood isn't get the people who go watch movies that do care, the YouTubers, but they continue to struggle because most people are not YouTubers. And the thing is, most people are not going to go see this movie either way. The YouTubers are still going to focus on the big franchise movies because that's what gets the views. So Abigail is yet another box office failure. From who made this movie? Universal. Once again, look at Kung Fu. You can compare this to Kung Fu Panda 4 and Monkey Man. Okay, this is the problem with modern day Hollywood. They can't seem to get these non-franchise movies off the ground. Next is Godzilla vs. Kong. Yes, this movie is in between the next biggest movies. But this movie has made $485 million. It is still becoming pretty successful. at the box office. And it has made a lot of money globally as well. It also is breaking records in China for Hollywood in the past year, which is pretty funny. That Transformers flopped, but Godzilla, they'll still go out and see Godzilla. They'll still go out and watch Godzilla. Okay, they'll still go out and watch Godzilla, which is pretty funny. Yeah. Also, The Boy in the Hell is doing pretty well. You also have Kung Fu Panda 4. Dune Part 2 did okay in China. Ghostbusters, I think that no one went to go see that. Again, Ghostbusters does not do well outside of the English-speaking world in Mexico. So, because there was a lot of cross-cultural overlap in Mexico and the USA. That's probably why Ghostbusters and Turtles are still super popular in Mexico, but not popular in Germany, Japan. Okay, Star Wars is different because Star Wars is a very popular series, but it seems that, we're going to talk about Ghostbusters as well, but it seems that with, something like Godzilla, this is an IP that I think Warner Bros. Definitely wants to keep. And I think they're going to continue making more of these Godzilla movies because these movies continue to make money. They continue to make money, and people love Godzilla, people love King Kong, people love, big monster, beat up thing. That's basically what these movies are. It's fun. People just want fun. The rigs are not too good for this movie, obviously. Sweet here. But I think, Godzilla fans have had their voices heard. $131 million domestically is well owned for Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. This movie, and also the reason why this movie is not having good rigs is because this movie massively overperformed on its first weekend. Okay, this movie was only, remember, this was only supposed to open to 45 to 50 million. And it opened to 80 million. Okay, that's why the drop-off is so high for this movie. Its third and second and third weekend. Because no one was expecting this movie to overperform that much at the box office. But again, this is a quote-unquote critic-proof movie, kind of like Kung Fu Panda 4. It really shows you that most people don't give a crap what Rotten Tomatoes says about movies anymore, because Rotten Tomatoes is just a bunch of bullshit. Oh yeah, they gave Kristen Stewart's new movie a 90%, and has anyone seen it? No. Now let's move on to, let's go back to the numbers here, and now we'll talk about the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Yes, now we'll be talking about, so this movie is a World War II movie. It has a lot of stars in it, but the problem is that Hollywood still can't seem to make these non-franchise movies successful. This movie actually overperformed its first weekend, but it just seems that these non-franchise movies continue to struggle at the box office. They continue to struggle to find an audience. We saw this around in January and February too. But a lot of these non-franchise movies continue to struggle at the box office, and March as well with Imaginary and Arthur the King. Okay, there have been some successes of non-franchise movies like Monkey Man, which, again, that's because the movie costed almost nothing to make, $10 million budget. Or The Beekeeper, which was a moderate success. Okay, but this is another failure from Hollywood. Another failure of a non-franchise movie. It's also made by Lionsgate as well. But these types of movies still continue to do poorly at the box office. This movie is going to lose a lot of money for Lionsgate as well. Again, Hollywood still has this struggle. And again, I don't expect every movie to be successful. Obviously, that is just a matter of fact. But the fact that the movies that are not doing super well at the box office as non-franchise movies is concerning. Okay, because back in the 80s and 90s and 2000s, and even early 2010s, the non-franchise movies made hundreds of millions of dollars at the box office. And I think really it's because of the Marvel movies. I really think it's because of Marvel. Marvel made the franchise very over-centralizing. Okay, everybody started making sequels, remakes, reboots, and I think that's what caused the death of the non-franchise movie. Okay, because of course this is based off of World War II, but these movies still continue to do poorly no matter what. Okay, and this is Hollywood's massive problem, and yeah, it is pretty sad that this movie isn't doing too well at the box office, but again, Hollywood continues to struggle with non-franchise movies. Next movie is Kung Fu Panda 4, which barely beat out Ghostbusters. Again, they said this movie was horrible. This movie was a travesty, worst movie in the Kung Fu Panda series. While it continues to have very good ratings, or average ratings, for a movie as well. It is having better ratings than the third movie, and it's also doing better than the third movie as well. Yeah. Despite all things, even though I think even adjusting for inflation, Kung Fu Panda 4 has better ratings simply than Kung Fu Panda 3. The movie already passed Kung Fu Panda 3's global domestic total. Global? Probably not. Again, it's adjusted for inflation. Inflation rates vary by country, obviously, at least in 2016. The actuals for the movie, the movie made of course, inflation varies by country, but even adjusted, this movie is going to pass Kung Fu Panda 3 almost certainly. So again, this movie is an enigma. Everyone said this movie was mediocre or boring or uninteresting or blah blah blah. All the critic, Rotten Tomatoes said it was garbage. Well, guess what? The movie made $480 million globally. I guess, the actual people who went to go see the movie liked the movie. Okay? It is just that simple. If the movie was that bad, it would be performing like Ghostbusters, which is the next movie on the list. Ghostbusters: A Frozen Empire. Yeah, this is a movie that I think no one really cares about. The ratings are getting better for this movie, but I think it's too late for this movie to be salvaged. This movie needs to make $250 million, which I already said when we talked about the movie on its first weekend was an impossible task because Ghostbusters, of course, does not do too well internationally. It is a franchise that struggles in international sales. It has only done well in Mexico, the UK, and Australia, and Spain. Okay, those are the only 4 markets. And I think Spain is simply because of how it is pretty popular in Mexico. But it seems like most people don't care about Ghostbusters outside the US, okay? For example, Germany, it did pretty poorly in Germany. It's going to probably do pretty poorly in Japan. Actually, it already did. 1.1 million. Germany, 1.7 million. And, yeah, again, Ghostbusters, I think they've already to end the Ghostbusters franchise at this point, okay? No one needs any new Ghostbusters movies for a while, okay? They really jumped the gun because they wanted to have the nostalgia bait for the Afterlife. And Afterlife was a pretty good movie, but I think this is the problem with Ghostbusters, is that it struggles outside the USA. Okay, if the movie underperforms in the USA, the movie franchise is screwed. It's effed. Okay, I think that is the problem with Ghostbusters as a franchise. Also, I really don't think people care all too much about what Rotten Tomatoes says about Frozen Empire, because a lot of those reviews are complete bullshit anyways, and yeah. But again, Kung Fu Panda 4 and Godzilla X Kong also have bad Rotten Tomatoes scores, or not as to power of the other movies in the series, like a Kung Fu Panda 4, but both those movies did pretty well. Next is Spy X Family, which we did actually technically avoid this movie, but again, the movie released in Japan for a while, and it did pretty well now. And it did okay in the US. Not many people went to go see it. It wasn't a very popular movie. It's based off some anime. But yeah. Next is Dune Part 2. Again, very successful movie. Very beloved movie as well. But the movie is nearing the end of its run. which means Dune is coming out in digital and Blu-ray. Very, very soon. I think it's already out on digital, but it's coming out on Blu-ray very soon. So, for the rest of us who haven't seen it yet, we get to see it either on digital, streaming, and Blu-ray. So, yeah, Dune Part 2 made $685 million. Is still the most successful movie by far this year. Next is Monkey Man. Again, this movie has broken even. Again, costed almost nothing to make as well. And this movie, I think, made like $26 million. Again, it's a small movie. It wasn't really advertised all too much. But they still managed to make this money, make this movie break even as well. Also has not yet to release in Mexico, Brazil, and Korea, which could be decent markets for this movie as well. It has done the best in the UK and Australia as well. It will also probably do pretty good in Mexico as well. And yeah, that is it about the Monkey Man as well. So yeah, last is the first Omen. This movie continues to fail. Again, the movie is doing pretty well internationally, which is a pretty funny thing, but no one in the US seems to care about more of Disney's swap, because this is not a Disney movie that no one cares about. Yes, Disney owns the company, which is 20th Century Studios, who made this movie. So yes, I can call it a Disney movie. Sorry, Disney owns Fox. I don't make the rules here. But this movie is doing very, very poorly. No one went to go see it. This is actually a sequel to like an old horror franchise. It really shows you that Disney is running out of ideas. Like, did anyone ask for this? Probably not. And that is it about the box office. Very slow weekend, but we did a more in-depth than we usually did about the box office. Again, Hollywood continues to struggle with non-franchise movies as well. So that's it about this video here. Goodbye.